delay in implementing the Supreme Court's ruling on local government autonomy has sparked concern as the federal government continues to funnel LG allocations through state governments, contrary to the court's directive. On July 11 of 2024, the Supreme Court ordered that allocations meant for the 774 local government areas be paid directly to them, bypassing state authorities. This decision followed a case filed by the federal government against the state governors, accusing them of withholding local government funds and appointing caretaker committees instead of allowing democratically elected officials to govern. Despite the clear directive, the government has not yet enforced the ruling, which means that local governments remain dependent on states for access to their share of the federation account. Well, to further discuss the delay in the implementation of the Supreme Court judgment on LG autonomy and the need to expedite the process of compliance with the judgment to avoid industrial crisis at the grassroots level, we're now joined by Rise News analyst Dayo Sobowale. Good afternoon, Mr. Sobowale.
Good afternoon. Pleasure to be here as usual.
Great to have you as always. What do you make of this delay?
That's bureaucracy at work. That's red tape, delay. You see, according to the latest report I read, it seems the committee that was set up has already, I think it was the end of November, submitted its report. So, you see, from that, you can speculate that maybe it is on the president's table and the buck stops on his table. So we call on the president to implement action because it was the attorney general that started the ball rolling for this autonomy. And I think the president himself will run into a stumbling block of sorts, which is what is happening now. That's why he set up a committee led by the secretary to the government, Minister of Finance, Minister of Budget Planning, and almost all those who are involved, including permanent secretaries. But they said they have submitted their report by end of November. So let's wait and see what happens. Because I don't know where to put a such light on, except to go along with the idea that the situation is on the president's table. Let's hope the bureaucracy, the red tape, does not kill it there. Right.
Absolutely, especially as this is such a landmark ruling. It got so many people excited. Initially, the Minister of Finance and Economic Plan, and Coordinating Minister, of the Economy, had said that there were some practical impediments. And now more information is filtering through saying that, they're saying that they don't know if the allocations go directly to the local governments, if all of the salaries can be paid sufficiently, and a number of things that you feel in a 6-month period, surely we should have been able to look into these things and rectify them. Are you content with, number one, the transparency of the process so far that the committee has been engaged in trying to understand what these practical impediments are? So transparency. Number two, the timeline. 6 months feels like a very long time for such a groundbreaking ruling.
Yes, it shows, you said it is groundbreaking. It's a departure from the norm. It's a sort of restructuring, even though they have not called it. Those who are talking of restructuring, this is a major restructuring of our political process and our way of government and governance. Get me? But you see, the governors are not happy with it, even though they may come out to say the contrary, because they are ceding power. But the local government people too are ready. See, there's a threat from the National Union of Local Government Employees that will go on strike if something is not done. But you see, when you talk of bureaucracy and red tapeism, it's a powerful thing. If civil servants don't want to implement something, they can take obstacles, put obstacles in the way, create delays, and if allowed, they may kill whatever project. But this one, I think it's like you said, it's a groundbreaking thing, and I want it to see the light of day. And I'm sure it will, because it's the baby of this government. It's the federal government that went to Supreme Court to ask for interpretation of the matter, and they gave the judgment. So it is in the interest of government to get it, to see it through. That's what I would say now.
Well said, Mr. Sobowale. I like your emphasis on you wanting this to see the light of day. And you also mentioned the threat of an industrial action or industrial crisis. Can you give us details of what that might look like in this context, if it comes to that?
If it comes to that, they will give notice to government, give a deadline, and if government does not do it, the right of protest is inherent in our constitution. And this is an industrial relations issue now. They are not being hostile about it. They want government to see through its own policies. So I think it will not get to that. Because even as we are talking, I'm sure some people know that something needs to be done urgently. If not before the end of the year, I expect something very early in the new year. Because something that has to be done to make democracy, the dividends of democracy, get to our grassroots and improve the quality of life for people economically. Right.
We're now hearing from the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, the National Union of Local Governments, and so forth. Of course, like you said earlier, there's a lot of controversy around the role of governors in the implementation of that. And people are alluding to the fact that it's the governors who are blocking this process from bearing fruit. How do we overcome this? Yes, you've said that it should most likely be at the president's table at the moment. But the concern is that this is a Supreme Court ruling, an apex court ruling, and it's still so difficult to implement. How do we make sense of that?
No, you can make sense of it. Politics, at the end of the day, is our power. Who gets what, where, and how. See, the governors are powerful people. They are the head of state in their states. Get me? And it's like they don't want to lose any aspects of their power. But this federal government has gone to court to make it legal for them to abide by that Supreme Court something.
But aren't they
and they are throwing spanner in the world. That's bureaucracy. It's all over the world. It is all over the world. If people don't want an issue to see the light of day, they throw obstacles at every corner. But it needs a persistent, committed president or government to insist. And then, I said earlier, when they set up this committee, that this president and the secretary to the government, they knew the obstacles they would face. You get me now? They knew the obstacles that interested parties who may not want the measure. It's restructuring. I keep on saying it. People are clamoring for restructuring, but some people don't want some things to happen. It's not the only one. What's of the other matter we discussed?
The tax bill.
That's right. If some people have their way, it will not see the light of day. But that is the essence of government. A government must make policies and must be able to have the efficiency and skills to outmaneuver those who will want these policies to see the light of day and make sure those policies see the light of day. Sam?
Okay.
Yes.
Great emphasis on the clamor for restructuring. But beyond financial autonomy, what other structural reforms do you deem necessary to truly empower local government administrations?
Well, let this one see straight through now. Let us start with this. This one is a major reform. It is not. It is been checkmated. Let this one see straight through. Then we talk of other things. Yes. Okay.
All right.
Next question.
Mr. Dayo Sobowale, well, unfortunately, our time is up, because I would have really loved to go into, the process we just saw some of the local government elections undergoing, and,
We will get to that too.
We'll get to that as well, right?
This financial autonomy.
Yes.
You get me? That's another form of autonomy.
Absolutely.
Because if you do not do that, you will have the party in power always winning elections.
There you go.
Another one is complicated too. You will have to find another INEC for the local government. And INEC does not want to see that authority to the new body.
Of course.
So politics is who gets what, when, and how. And it's work in progress.
That's
any day.
certainly a work in progress.
Oh,
Emphasis on that. Thank you so much, Mr. Dayo. Always awesome hearing from you.